Say hello to the future of grilling with our patented thermostatic control technology. 2 cooking modes that allow you to cook the way you want. First up, barbecue mode. It's your traditional grilling experience with variable temperatures, giving you control of each burner to adjust exactly as you want on your terms, or enter the game-changing oven mode. Simply set the thermostatic control dial to your desired temperature, and your grill transforms into a precision oven. The choice is yours. Members Mark Pro Series with thermostatic control, now available at your local Sam's Club store.
Welcome to Malcom Reed's How to Barbecue Right, a podcast where we talk about barbecue, share recipes, and discuss all things delicious. And now, here's your host, Malcom and Rochelle Reed.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Barbecue Right podcast. I'm your host, Malcom Reed, and I'm joined by my lovely, talented wife, Miss Southern Shell. We've got Tyler over here on the producer side, on the boards. What's happening?
We gave away a Primo grill
a
couple days ago.
We did. That's one of the coolest giveaways that we've ever done.
That's a big boy grill.
Yeah, heck yeah, it is.
And I don't know how much y'all paid attention. I'm sure y'all were, but it was neck and neck there for a while.
Man, I was surprised. There was a lot of entries to it. I don't remember the total number we had, but
it was let's say 400 or something like that. It was a lot. It was one of the biggest ones we've ever done.
Yeah, that was amazing. Appreciate everybody trying that, and I'm glad, so Tyler, who won it? Was it the mac and cheese pizza?
It was.
That's what I thought. Because after I was watching it, I was like, "Oh, they're never going to catch that one."
What's a mac and cheese pizza?
It had pulled pork on it, mac and cheese. It sounded. I may have to.
Was it a thick crust?
Cheese or complete with cheese stuffed garlic knot crust.
Oh, okay.
You had me at the first half, and then really at the second half. So yeah, you got to make this.
I bet you can't eat much of it.
So the cheese is in the crust and the mac and cheese on top of as a topping.
Yeah, and it looks like it also just has shredded cheese on
all over it. It's pizza. It's got to have cheese.
I wonder if it holds up when you go to pick
it up. I bet it's more like casserole stuff.
Yeah, it's thick.
Deep dish, I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's what it have to be.
And then second place was Stephen Munster with a crawfish pizza, and they were really
good.
Going back and forth between these two pizzas, who was winning on each day. I know that they both individually in their messages said, "Man, it was a hard fought battle." They were sending everybody they had, but
Michael Scott got in there with third place, wasn't he?
He did. I think he had a porterhouse steak.
Yeah, it looked good too.
Real good.
Those were the ones that stood out.
So
me.
two pizzas.
There was a lot of good looking stuff.
Yeah.
I expected more wings. There was wings on there, but it wasn't as many as I thought there would be. Pizza kind of surprised me.
You got to go out. I guess you got to get out the box a little bit with it because you're trying to get people to vote for, and when people see that, they're like, man, that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I would vote. But you could vote for multiple. You could vote for all of them if you wanted to.
Yeah,
it's just about who got the most votes.
That's what I did.
I voted for everybody.
I went in there and just.
I did too. I wanted everybody to get at least one vote, so I figured I'd vote for them all.
So shout out to our top 5 that won the tailgate bundle. Blake, congratulations on your new Primo XL all-in-one. And we're already kind of gearing up for another one. I'm hoping it's going to be a big one. We're hoping to talk to some folks, but we'll have some stuff to announce.
If we can keep these companies wanting to give away grills, man, that'd be awesome. Give away one a month.
Heck yeah, that'd
the
be
year
great.
of grill giveaways.
Yeah, but we do them a lot. So join the community, get in there. It's just a great place to ask questions and be with like-minded.
What better way to fire up a
masters.
Football season than get a new grill?
I know.
Especially one that nice.
Makes me want a new one, too.
You've got plenty. I think you probably have some still in a box.
No, that I hadn't opened.
These days, they usually come built, I feel.
Yeah.
So what else we got on tap?
I got a hot take for you.
Let's go ahead and jump in with the hot take.
Hooters wings suck.
What? You're crazy. It's one of the best wing joints there is.
Wow.
Now, I mean, I do like them better at Hooters than getting them delivered or to go.
They are better at Hooters, but they still kind of stink.
Why do you think that?
It's like the grease tastes bad or something.
No,
it has a
maybe it's
funny.
That branch.
What?
Maybe it's that branch you had them from. No, I can see you saying that. Some people, either you like them or you don't. You might like the naked style, or you might like the Daytona style, or the roast. Don't they have a rotisserie style now? They've got several different styles you can get them.
By default, Hooters wings come breaded, right?
Yeah, that's their original.
So it must be
thick.
Why they don't hold up well in a to-go box. It's all the moisture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it just gets kind of
It does.
That makes them worse but they're not that great to begin with.
So what's your favorite at a restaurant wing?
What's better than Hooters?
Yeah.
Buffalo Wild Wings, Wingstop, most every other sports bar.
No way.
I love Wingstop.
You too.
I think you're biased or something.
They have a killer fish sandwich.
Yeah.
Hooters.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
That's one thing I would not get at Hooters. How long do you think that thing's been? They got to chip the ice off that when they go get it out of the freezer.
It's been a minute since I had the Hooters fish sandwich, but
yeah, I don't think I'd eat that.
Now
I'll tell you what's good. They're buffalo shrimp. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, their buffalo shrimp is good.
Yeah.
I think the first time I had it, you brought me there, and we tried it for the first time. It was really good. Really, really good.
I like Hooters wings. They're one of my favorites.
Yeah, they are. And for a long time, I was like, maybe it's just a bad batch. And every time we'd go, I'd just like, maybe it's just me. Yeah. And then you had some left over last night. I took a bite. I was like, nope, they suck.
We did. Tyler and I were in a fantasy draft last night.
We were. I thought I drafted awfully, but apparently I drafted a lot better than I thought.
I don't know about these ratings, Tyler.
The ratings, they're always.
Where Yahoo just gives you, rates how you did in your draft before the season.
Yeah.
I was last. Dead last. D- is what they gave me. And I felt better. This is my third draft for getting ready for football season. It starts tonight, by the way. But this is the worst grade that I got. I got an A- on on the big league, the 12 team, and then I did one the other night and I got a B on it. And then I got a D-.
Well, but
on the How to Barbecue Right League. We may need to run a contest where we let somebody in that league every year.
We should.
I don't know how we would do it, but for next year, we need to run a contest where we get one guest,
That'd be awesome.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. So football's here.
Football is here. Man, what a great weekend last weekend it was.
That was a good football weekend. To be week one.
Yeah. Well, we have 5 days of college football. That's the way you kick it off. And I don't know, to me, that seemed like the most ever. Now,
I agree.
Most of the good teams were playing patsies. I mean, it was like they paid these teams to come play, and some of them,
But you had a few that were.
You had a few good ones. Oh, I thought that the Notre Dame A&M game was really good, and then USC and LSU on Sunday night. That was an awesome game. I mean, it was down to the wire.
Clemson and Georgia.
One.
Georgia kind of ran away with
they
it
ended up
at the end, but it was.
And then Boston College upsetting Florida State. Florida State losing for the second week in a row. Man, their coach has got to be on the hot seat.
I saw somebody said it sucks when you got 2 losses on week 1.
Yeah, because it was week 0, then week 1. Now you've already got 2. But you know what? That stinks because we had some local excitement going on with that Florida State team because University of Memphis has Florida State on their schedule. And it's really
I didn't know
that was supposed to be their biggest competition because they're favored to win their conference. What are they in the AAC, the American Athletic Conference? Memphis is.
Okay, Memphis is.
And so they should win that conference, and they're going to be up forward getting into this new playoff that they have as a non-Power 5 school. They're thinking they were going to, they were preseason going to have the best record, and depending on how they played against Florida State. Well, now that Florida State game don't seem that exciting. If they would have come in with no losses, it'd have been a big game. But now Memphis will probably beat them. And there's also a tie to Florida State's coach. He left Memphis to go coach. I think it was his name Norvell.
Yeah,
something like that. But he might not have a job by the time. I don't know when that game is. I didn't look at Memphis' schedule to see when it's going to be.
It's not.
But I'll be paying attention to it.
I looked at the schedule this weekend. Yeah. I feel like this weekend's schedule is worse than last week's.
Really? There's a Mississippi State. Mississippi State goes out to Arizona and plays that late game on Saturday.
One's on my list.
Always when you go to the West Coast and you're used to playing. I mean, Mississippi State plays at 11 o'clock a lot of times. That's just where they slot in. No, they play afternoon games too, but usually they're not almost over by 9.
They're not prime time.
So they've got to travel and they've got that delayed start for getting used to that. I wonder what day they go out there. I'm sure they're out there probably already or en route.
Next Saturday, by the way, is the Florida State.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we need Florida State to win this week. Maybe. I wouldn't bet on them. There's no way. But I guess Miami's going to be the team to beat in the ACC.
So you dropped a few football foods this week.
Yeah, I did. My favorite of them was the one I did the recipe for today. I wrote for you, the chicken bites.
Honey jalapeno chicken bites.
Man.
That was a great recipe.
It's, I've done 1,000 things with boneless, skinless thighs.
You have. They're like
And
your
they're all
favorite thing.
good. They are all good. And the boneless, skinless thigh is an underrated piece of chicken. I wouldn't say it's better than a wing, but when you grill it over charcoal, it's pretty daggum close because it's all deliciousness. There's no bones to deal with.
I couldn't say it's better than a wing, but I think it's better than breast.
Yeah, it is better than breast. It's better.
I think so.
It's
yeah.
really, really good.
If you're eating a piece of fried chicken, are you going breast, wing?
Fried chicken, I'm probably going to go wing and breast.
Wing and breast.
I don't like fried thighs.
I do.
But I have never had, this is one thing I've never had, is a fried boneless, skinless thigh. And I need to do that. I'm jotting that down in my little to-dos.
You can turn it into a sandwich or just?
I don't know. Once I just want to put it on some sauce and see what it's like.
It'd be good on a sandwich.
It's not barbecue, but it's got to be good.
Well, you remember when they had the wing shortage during the pandemic?
Yes.
Wingstop started doing thighs in place of wings. They would fry them and sauce them and everything.
Thighs cheaper. It's cheaper than wings.
I always wanted to go get some, but now they don't have them anymore.
I like personally on a thigh, I'd rather have it smoked or grilled than I had fried.
You grill them hot and fast all the time.
Mm-hmm. They're good like that too.
You'll put different rubs on the beginning. You'll do different sauces at the end. And it's like a whole different, it's something new every time.
Yep. Yeah, and they're really good. But let's go back to these honey jalapeno chicken bites. So what I did with those, I buy that family tray pack of boneless, skinless thighs. And, they always have a little fat on them. And depending on the dish, if I trim it off or not, well, with this one, I wanted to get the fat off.
Why?
Just because I didn't want, I'm cutting them into bite-sized pieces. And so I take those thighs and I take that excess fat off and then I cut them into thirds. And if you didn't, some of those chunks are going to have a ton of fat.
Too much fat.
Yeah.
Fat.
And it just, once it, it's just not that, it doesn't crisp up enough. It doesn't, a little bit of it's okay. But the big, thick pockets of fat that sometimes on these boneless, skinless thighs, I will get that off. And you don't have to get real crazy. Just take the edge of your knife, kind of scrape it down and make a slice. And usually it's only on that one side. And that's all you have to do. And then you just take that thigh and I lay them out to where they're kind of rectangular, spread them out, and then just third it. So it makes 3 chunks.
And they're pretty big chunks.
Yeah, it's a good bite. And so what I do is I take them and once I get them all cut up, toss them in a little bit of AP just to get that salt, pepper, garlic, just some savory seasoning on it. And then I whip up a marinade. And since I was going with that honey jalapeno flavor, I was just going to do something simple. So I was like, hot sauce. I love marinating chicken in hot sauce. You get that vinegar aspect. It starts tenderizing the meat a little bit, gives it a little spice. Well, I added jalapeno juice and honey. That's all it was. So take a jar of pickled jalapenos and just pour out about a 1/4 cup of juice. Whisk it into about half. These bottles of hot sauce, I think they're like 6 ounces, and I probably used about 3/4 of the bottle. It's about half a cup if you have to measure it. And then the honey, about a 1/4 cup of honey, same as the juice, and just stir it all up. So it's real thin. It's like a liquid. It's almost like a hot sauce.
It looks like a hot sauce,
spicy brine. So it's kind of thin. It's like a hot saucy, spicy, vinegary brine. That's what it is with the honey to balance it out. And so cover the chicken with that. And I just did it in like a little pan.
You could do it in a bag.
You could do it in a bag if you wanted to put it in a Ziploc bag or whatever. But you want the pieces pretty submerged in it. But just toss them around a little bit, get them all coated, stick them in the refrigerator for 2 hours.
Could you go overnight?
You could. I don't know if you could do it too long. I really don't. Why would you leave it in there a couple of days? I'd be worried about the chicken going bad before that. But overnight would be easy too, especially if you were going to go to a tailgate or something. Do that, let it soak, get up the next morning, and then as soon as you take it out of the brine, I just kind of take that chunk, double it, and then stick it in a skewer.
Kind of fold it over.
Yeah, so it's like a little folded up strip pretty much. It makes a nugget. Kind of does. Thread about 6 or 8 of those on a skewer. You don't want to you're not cramming them tight as you can, but they don't necessarily have to have a gap in between them. And once you get them all skewered up, hit them with a little hot rub just for some color and a little extra seasoning. And then all you need is a hot grill. And I direct grill these. If I had to say, it's probably a medium high heat. It's pretty hot. I don't say it has to be like 700 degrees.
Or you talking
but you
450, 500?
450, 500, right in that range. You want them with the thighs. It's kind of like cooking that burnt ass chicken. You want just Get you
burn and turn.
Get you a chimney of coals and burn and turn them. Now, if you use wooden skewers, which you can do, soak those before you put the chicken on them so that the skewer don't burn up as much, but the metal skewers work best.
I've seen you use wooden skewers without soaking them.
I have.
Plenty of time.
And they, and the edges of them will burn.
They do.
It's no problem really, but I said for this one, I just grabbed my metal skewers. It was easy. So I threaded them on those metal skewers. I put them on the grill, and you want to, every 2 or 3 minutes, you need to be checking them. You don't need to walk away because they will burn, but you're just rotating them. And so I just put on like a pair of cotton gloves, some nitrile gloves, or grab you some tongs and just flip them. Every 2 minutes, go over there and roll it, and just keep doing that. And meanwhile, you could make up the glaze before.
I would highly recommend.
So while you got your chicken marinated, go ahead and make your glaze up for the recipe. I kind of did it meanwhile, but I had somebody watching the grill so they didn't burn because you wasn't gonna let them burn up on me. But it wasn't difficult, and the glaze only takes a few minutes to make. So the glaze is the honey. That's the kind of the secret weapon to this recipe is that honey jalapeno glaze. And it's super simple. I took a stick of butter in a pan, and then I added like 2 jalapenos thinly sliced because you want them to kind of get tender, and you don't want big chunks of them. And they're really good, like to pour over at the end, which I'm going to get to. But you take those jalapenos and a big old.
You left the seeds in.
Yeah. Just wash them. And slice them as thin as you can with a knife. You don't have to get crazy. Just, don't mandle them or anything like that. Just slice them thin. Throw those in there and let them start sauteing. That butter melts. Let those peppers saute. 1 to 2 minutes. Put a big old heap of garlic in it. You could, if you want to chop up 8 to 9 cloves of garlic, however it takes, a whole head. But I just scooped it out for this one to be easy. Put that in there. A little Worcestershire sauce. A little bit of hot rub to give it some color. About a tablespoon, squeeze the lemon off in it, and I say Worcestershire?
Honey.
And honey at the end. And then, so once those peppers are starting to get tender, they start to turn a little color. That's when you want to add everything else. Salt, bring that to a simmer once you add the honey and the juice and the Worcestershire. As soon as it starts simmering, cut the heat down. Just let it go for a couple more minutes and then turn it off the heat. You can pour it up in a glass bowl or whatever, but you just want it to sit. You don't want it like bubbling or almost caramelizing the honey or anything like that. You just want to
just want it to reduce
just
for a minute
come together.
or two.
You're just kind of reducing it down. And the honey will start bubbling a lot. That's usually when I turn the heat off and just let it sit and calm down. Pour it up. Then it's ready to start glazing over that chicken once it gets to about 160 internal. So by the time you flip that chicken over,
how long?
2 rotations, like 2 quarter rotations.
That quick?
We're talking 15, 20 minutes tops. At the most, but you can take a little if you don't trust the chicken's done, get you a thermopin, stick it. But I can usually kind of tell you're not going to mess it up as long as you don't undercook it. That's the main thing. So 15, 20 minutes, it ought to be ready to start glazing. Then I just start brushing that glaze over the top, turning it and brushing it. Give it a double glaze on all sides. You don't have to go like a full 2 minutes on that. It's usually at 30, 45 seconds each side.
So you brush it on.
Let it
30, 45 seconds, rotate it, brush it on, and just keep doing that.
Do that twice.
Yeah.
Just twice. And then they're done.
Could you keep going and keep building those flavors, or would it burn?
Eventually it's going to burn over that high heat because that's really sweet. The honey's got a lot of sugar in it, know, and it's gonna burn on you pretty quick. That's why I say don't walk away. Brush it on. By the time you get them all brushed on, you're really just looking at 30 seconds, and you're going to flip it and do it again. By the time you get it brushed, flip it. Do that twice. And then take it off. It'll be done. It should be 175 minimum. If it gets to 195, you don't care. If it's 200, you don't care. You just don't. You want it at least 170 internal because it'll carry over to 175. But that's not the hard part's not grilling. I promise you. You can't mess these up grilling them. As long as you got some decent coals, you can't mess them up.
Then you pull them off the
skewer, and whatever sauce I had, the glaze I had left, I drizzled it over it with the jalapeno. Because when I eat this, I want to take a toothpick and kind of get me a jalapeno and get me a chicken bite. And that way you taste it all. And it's not super hot. These weren't like
it was spicy.
It was spicy, but it's not burn you down. Mm-hmm. But you want that jalapeno flavor. So you really do need the jalapenos in it. But if you just wanted to use one jalapeno and like one mild chili, you could.
Once the jalapeno is cooked and the sauce and you poured them over, it almost looked like a candied jalapeno.
Yeah,
poured
kinda,
over
it
the
did.
top. Yeah.
That's pretty much what you're doing to those jalapenos.
It's candy in them.
And that glaze. That was, man, I'm telling you, that'd be good on ribs. The honey jalapeno rib like that.
Oh, you did one.
I've done it before, but
Yeah.
not exactly that sauce. But that was just one I threw together, and it'd be good on chops. It'd be good on a lot of stuff.
I could see it being really good on chops. Yeah.
It's just an easy, quick glaze to whip up. But once you get all those laid out on a platter, I mean, that's the ultimate football food. It's like some adult chicken nuggets, pretty much.
They were really good. That was
Really
probably
good.
one of my favorite ones recently.
And after I did it, I said, I could take this a step further. What if I would have bacon wrapped every one of those chunks and put it on that skewer, and then you had honey jalapeno bacon chicken bites?
Well, you came up with an idea. You're like, what if I take a piece of chicken with a pickle and wrap it in bacon? I was like,
You're like, wait a minute.
did that.
Yeah.
I think that was a gas station find.
Yeah. That one wasn't, but I did those though.
You did call them dirty bird chicken bites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done different ways. Like I've done 1,000 ways of doing these chicken thighs, but that was a good one.
So you posted that video, and there was a lot of folks in the comments, like, they're just normal. This is great. Love to try this. And then, but there was a lot of folks complaining about you not cleaning your chicken.
I didn't run it through the dishwasher with Dawn and all that. Yeah, I should have cleaned that chicken, shouldn't I?
Is cooking it gonna clean it?
Yeah. I don't know what they're talking about, but people that washed off their chicken.
People have to be watching something. Like, it's just happening more and more lately, and I don't know why. Like, is there like TikToks that are popping up that are telling people to watch? Like, it's weird.
Oh, I saw one. She pulled out Dawn and had a
that's what I'm saying.
daddy.
People, scrub that chicken.
Do you know how
disgusting
her scrub daddy is now? Like, it's time to throw that thing away.
I need to do a video where I wash a whole chicken. Like, give it a bath.
This is kind of related.
Let
Really
it
quick.
up,
Get
suds it up.
Get a little rubber
ducky in there floating with him.
like Ernie on Sesame Street.
There was like kind of a recent news article that was like you know how babies take baths in the sink? This baby took a bath in the sink and got salmonella. The baby's fine, but like it's the parents have to be these people.
Yeah, that wash their chicken in their sink. That's all you're doing, spreading it all around.
Anytime, I mean, then you got to wash your sink.
I don't know what people are thinking.
But my favorite...
Washing chicken. You do not wash chicken. This would be a good clip. Do not wash your chicken when you get it home from the grocery store. Now, if you killed it and plucked all the feathers off and then had to burn it a little bit to get the little ones off, you probably want to wash that one. If it's just an old yard chicken. But if you got it from the grocery store, don't wash it. You're going to spread more germs than you're ever going to do with washing it. That's just a PSA. Chicken PSA.
That's the whole purpose of cooking it to a certain temperature.
That's what I think too. Like anything,
if I was going to eat it raw, I'd probably wash it. Might as well.
People like medium rare chicken here.
But do not wash your chicken.
But my favorite comment, someone said, "I loved you in Star Trek."
Which one was it? I didn't know there was a Chewbacca in Star Trek.
No, there's a Malcolm Reed in Star Trek.
Oh, yeah.
The guy we knocked off Google.
Yeah.
I loved you in Star Trek. Was that the Next Generation? Or was it? It wasn't the old one.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a nerd. I'm not that nerdy.
Yeah. Star Trek is extra.
I was more of a Star Wars guy.
It goes Star Wars, then Star Trek, then Battlestar Galactica. There's
some of those. I never got into Battlestar Galactica. I remember some of it. I think I had a little guy named Twiggy on there.
We only
Buck
had
Rogers, wasn't that the guy? I don't know if it was or not.
My father-in-law watches it, so I've caught glimpses of what the CGI and the special effects look like, and I just can't do it. Can't commit to that.
We only had so many channels growing up when I was a kid, and Star Trek was
always on.
Yeah,
but it was the old one.
Yeah, it was like Patrick Stewart. Was it Patrick Stewart?
That's not the old one. What do you mean?
No,
Shatner, man.
Oh no, it wasn't Shatner.
That's the one I grew up with. It was on reruns.
No, it was Patrick Stewart.
Come on in the afternoon.
Yeah, it'd come on in the afternoon. So I've watched a little bit of Star Trek.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. That's like the after one. I don't know if that might have been the
new generation or something.
Like that, yeah.
When I was a kid, I was Chris Pine, I think. No.
He was he was a pretty good Kurt.
That was a great movie.
It was. The joke was it came out not that long.
Ha ha ha. You also did country style ribs.
Yeah, and those, is it a football food?
Kinda. You can pick it up and eat it with one hand.
That's what kind of made it a football. It's a different. I mean, it's not a different take on ribs. It's just a cut up butt or the front end of the pork loin before it gets way too back and gets too lean.
So where does country style ribs comes from?
Well, there's kind of two things that I see called country style ribs. One is they'll just take a pork loin and they'll slice them up into chunks, almost like a pork chop, and then come back and half that. So you get this little rectangle looking piece of pork loin, and they'll call those boneless country style ribs. But the ones I like come from the kind of the pork butter, that front end of where the loin comes over the shoulder, up to the shoulder. And you get a more marbled piece. It's pretty much a butt that they've sliced almost in half like a pork steak, or slice it into steaks. And then they'll come back and then cut a piece of that, like half that. So the lower portion might have some bone, but you get some of the other bone in the other piece. Those aren't boneless, but those have more flavor for a country style rib.
I think so too. I like eating it off the bone.
Yeah. And really, I mean, you can take the butt style country style rib a lot further, because when you take a loin style country style rib, it dries out more. So you really want to keep those like around 145, 150, something like that internal. But the other ones you can take up to, I wouldn't take them up to where they're going to fall apart like a pork butt, but you could definitely take them up to like 180, 190 in that area where they still have some texture to them.
I think you went to 195-ish, 190, 195-ish.
That's usually where I try to take those too, just because it's it has a little more connective tissue, so you do want to break some of it down. But I mean, they're really great for grilling. You can kind of do them like a reverse sear almost. You're just cooking it away from the heat on one side till you get them to where you want them, and then you glaze them over direct heat, kind of char grill them like we do char grilled ribs or something like that to set the sauce on them.
So these country style ribs weren't really country style; they were more Asian style.
Yeah, I mean the country style refers to just. That's what they call a cut of them, when they trim them up. So I guess.
But when you think about that, you think of barbecue.
Why do you think they call them country style ribs?
I don't know. They got to call them something. It sounds like they're just getting rid of like.
Yeah, that's just an easy way to. Yeah, it's just an easy way to sell a pork butt or a pork loin, doing it like that. But
call it ribs.
But it's not. I mean, I grew up in the country, we didn't eat them like that, But I see why it's more akin to like if you were to eat the drop on a set of spare ribs, because they're cartilagey and they kind of where they connect on the breastbone, they'll cook those style ribs, and my mom always called those country style ribs. But it's started
kind of a vague term,
yeah. It is kind of a vague term, but they're great for throwing on a grill and cooking them any kind of way you want. It doesn't take hours to cook them. That's what I like about them. You do like the butt portion pieces of them. You do want to cook a little longer, like I said, because you want to break them down a little more. But the loin sections cook super fast. But I did a little Asian flair on these. So first, I kind of hit them with a pretty good dose of brown sugar, and I kind of spiced that brown sugar up.
Well, first you used soy sauce.
That was my binder.
I've never seen Asian you do that before.
Well, I've used Worcestershire on steaks and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, what would be good on this pork? And I was like, if you kind of give it a little. I was thinking the beef flanking ribs where I've done it with, in a marinade, and then you get the brown sugar on them and it kind of caramelizes, but you get the soy sauce. So it's kind of got these Asian-y flavors to it. That's what I was going for on these in a way. So I did a soy sauce and some brown sugar, and I seasoned that up. What did I use? Like onion powder, garlic powder, maybe some red pepper flakes.
I don't even know if you put garlic. I think it was just onion and red pepper flakes.
And it just kind of, to give it something at first. And then I just went on the grill.
So, okay, that was a lot of sugar that you put.
Yeah,
on that meat, and then went straight on a hot coal.
I wanted them to start. I mean, I was watching them. I didn't just let them burn up, but I wanted to kind of start that char, that flavor of where you get that brown sugar, caramelize it on the meat. And then I knew that I had me a safe spot on the grill. I did these on the Primo. I had all my hot coals on one side, two's on fire, cool side on the opposite. I started these out on the hot side to start getting some char, some color on them, kind of setting the outside. And then when I got them where I wanted them, I moved them over to the cool side and let them finish out. And then at the very end, I threw a sauce on them.
Which was Asian thing, buffalo.
Yeah, I cheated on that, didn't I?
Sometimes this makes it easier.
Well, it's when I was thinking of tailgate food or football food, You want an easy route. You don't want to, you don't want to have to make a sauce every time you do something. And to get those Asian-y flavors, man, it's hard to go.
You like it.
I love Asian zing.
Those ribs were spicy.
The Asian zing's got some kick to it. It's up there on the Buffalo Wild Wing chart.
It was burning my little lips.
Yeah, I liked them though. They were good. Yeah. It's a tasty little rib. Is it good as regular ribs? No.
But you get
good.
That Asian flavors with that char and the pork goes really, really well together.
They're cheap. I do know that.
Oh, really?
They're way cheaper than buying some ribs. Well, you eat one of those, you're probably not going to eat a whole lot more.
Mm-hmm. It's a big old rib.
It's a big old piece of meat.
So, do you remember the party ribs you did last year?
Yeah.
So, if you had to pick between the party ribs you did versus the country style ribs, which one would you be?
That's a great question.
Country style ribs have more meat on them.
Mm-hmm.
So, you get more bang for your buck. But as far as being a rib, those others are better.
Yeah, but which ones do you just taste? You get to pick one to eat. Just personal preference of eating.
I'm going to go country style.
Oh, really? I'll go party.
Yeah. Really?
Party ribs were I didn't expect them to be as good as they were.
Oh, I didn't either. Dude, I was very skeptical on those party style ribs, but that's a great football food too. I did those last year, didn't I?
Yeah, they were so.
That was but I still think you get more bang for your buck on the country style rib. Is it a rib? No, it's not a rib at all.
It's like a pork chop.
A rib. It's more of a pork chop. Yeah, it's more pork steak.
Kind of.
Yeah, and then when you cut the pork loins into that, it's more pork choppy. They both would do really, really well in that application. So you wouldn't have to move the loin style, country style ribs over to the cool side. You could just finish those over the coals, go to glazing them, flipping and turning. By that time, they're done. It's just like grilling pork chops.
Have you ever thought about taking a pork loin and turning it into pork skewers? Like you do for bacon?
Yeah. I've seen those. They sell a marinated version of that now. I saw them in Kroger.
Really? And it's pork?
It looks like little burnt pork, burn-in shaped cubes, but it's loin, and they're usually marinated, and they're on a skewer all ready to go. So it's think of like chicken on a stick. It's like pork on a stick.
Well, you did one time where you did that, and you put pineapple. Pineapple pork.
Yep.
I was talking about strips, like your Thai steak sticks.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of.
Oh, I didn't know. I hadn't thought about that, but that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I think that would be really good because
it'll still be a little tender in the middle and chewy on the outside.
Hold on.
This is all great because I have a pork loin sitting in my fridge that I've been not wanting to just make a regular pork loin with. So I'm going to try some of this. Yeah,
I'm going to have to try that. I like that idea, and I kind of got an idea now.
Real quick, it's a great time for us to pay some bills.
All right. The How to Barbecue Right podcast is brought to you by our friends at Primo Grills. Shell, did you know that Primo is the only ceramic grill made right here in the good old USA?
What? Are you telling me that Primo Grills are proudly crafted here in the USA, ensuring top-notch quality and support for local craftsmanship?
I sure am. Plus, Primo Grill not only delivers mouth-watering flavor, but because of their innovative oval design and superior ceramic construction, Primo Grills also gives you a ton of cooking versatility.
Whether you're smoking low and slow or searing a steak to perfection, Primo Grills gives you the consistent heat distribution for mouth-watering results every time.
What she said, y'all. Y'all visit PrimoGrill.com and check them out. But what about this weekend? Can we talk about that yet? Where I'm going? Or you're going?
I was going to talk about your El Diablo dip.
El Diablo.
So.
The devil dip. Is that in El Diablo? Is that the devil?
I think so.
I hope so.
I just thought it sounded cool.
Yeah.
That was a good dip.
So to start that one off, you Diablo'd up some bacon.
I did. You know what?
Tyler didn't know about this recipe.
Oh, you weren't there for that one, were you?
Yeah.
So what I did was, I was thinking, what would be a good football dip? And one of my favorites is your crack dip that you make. And I was like, how could I take that and change it into something else and give it more little man style dip with a little spice to it, a little different ingredients.
Maybe a different flavor.
So I was like, well, let's go kind of like a spicy Mexican style of crack dip. And that's how I just come up with El Diablo dip.
And it kept evolving. You kept coming up with ideas and we kept bouncing stuff around.
Exactly.
And the bacon, you just came up, you were like, you know what?
On the fly. So what I did, Tyler, was I took a sheet pan and I put my bacon out on it. Well, I drizzled it with Valentina. And then I spread it all around, kind of a binder. And then I hit it with gringo. So it was kind of like a Mexican spicy bacon. Mm-hmm. And man, it turned into it.
And you baked it.
Yeah. And then I baked it in the oven. You could do it on the smoker if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But I baked it. And so it kept that like bright reddish chorizo looking look. That's what the grease looked like that cooked out of the bacon. It looked like chorizo. So it's almost like chorizo bacon.
And then you chopped it, but the little bites were so good.
Oh, they were so good. And so it goes into the dip, and I used a block of cream cheese.
No, you used jalapeno cream cheese.
Oh, no, that's right. I did. You taught me into that.
Well, that was something you used stuffed peppers with.
I use them. I bought it for dove season because we were making poppers. And I was like, that would be good in there. Because I was just going to use regular cream cheese because that's what you use in the crack dip. And he was like, why don't you use some of that jalapeno cream cheese? And I like it because it's a little smoother than a block of cheese.
Gets whipped.
Yeah, it's kind of whipped in the little container. It's already had some heat to it. So I started with that. I added some Mexican crema instead of sour cream. Used a little bit of Blue Plate mayonnaise. You got to have some Blue Plate and everything. And I don't know if they have a Mexican Blue Plate. They ought to.
If you're choosing mayonnaise this weekend.
Blue Plate. Blue Plate and gringo.
If you're cheesing mayonnaise this weekend, make sure to choose Blue Plate. It's the best mayonnaise on the planet.
Real mayonnaise, quality since 1927, made with real egg yolks.
So
much better than the other mayonnaises out there if you have.
Much better.
Much better.
So you use the jalapeno cream cheese, crema, Blue Plate, spicy ranch seasoning.
Spicy ranch. You got to buy the spicy ranch, and it just comes in a rub shaker at Kroger.
I've seen it in the packets before, but we couldn't find it.
It was like a tablespoon, 2 to 3 tablespoons is what I put of that stuff to kick it up. Would you say this dip was hot after I put all that in it?
It was spicy, but it wasn't like.
Was it burn you down?
No, it wasn't burn you down. I don't do
burn you down. I like spice, but I like flavor.
It was good.
And I don't want it to be painful. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how this was. And I added some cheese.
Old ladies might complain about it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I cheated again. I bought the Kraft like Fiesta blend cheese. So you get a pack of that inside there and you basically stir it all up.
You added a little gringo. You added a little bacon.
I made a fresh pico. I chopped up a couple Roma tomatoes and a little white onion, a little cilantro, a little more fresh jalapeno, made a pico, seasoned that just with a little TX, set that to the side. And then once I got my dip all put together, it needs to sit. So all these flavors that I put in it can kind of sit. And you save a little bit of the bacon for the topping, a little bit of cheese for the topping, and then you got your pico. So once you take it out of the refrigerator, this is where I top it with the extra Fiesta blend cheese, the rest of the crumbled bacon, the
Diablo bacon.
And then the pico goes in the center. And that way when you drag your eating vessel through it, like you can use whatever you want.
Vessel.
Corn chips work great, like Frito scoops.
Tortillas.
You could use the tortilla chips. You could use whatever you want for that.
Crackers. I dipped a couple things in it.
Celery, if you don't want to, you don't want to use a chip, if you're watching your calories, pork rind would be good.
Takis
would be good.
That's a good idea. Why didn't we do that?
You could use whatever you wanted. But that one was definitely a football food. I could see that being, at a lot of football gatherings.
Diablo Dip.
Two things. Y'all are killing me. I'm dying over here. Second of all,
me too.
I can't believe I missed Spicy Day. Like what?
Yeah. Everything was spicy that day.
Everything was spicy that day.
It's like my favorite.
Off of football spicy time.
I'm making that.
I didn't do a dessert or anything though, and I had a drink that I was going to do. I just we didn't get to it that day.
So I got to tell. I pulled a bunch of questions off Facebook, the community. I mean,
yeah.
But this one is specific to tailgating, and I thought it was a great question. So his family has Colt season tickets. They live about an hour and a half from Indianapolis. So is there something he can smoke or grill that will hold temp during the drive in a party stack cooler? He knows big cuts of meat like briskets, pulled pork, they're going to stay, but he was thinking like a 90-minute cook time or less.
Yeah.
He didn't want to spend more than 90 minutes that morning cooking before he takes it over.
Anything skewered would work.
Would it stay hot though? That's the key.
Yeah. If you once you cook them and you get enough mass of them in the party stacker, like if you did just what I did for the recipes, probably not going to, but that ain't going to go far anyway to tailgate. If I was going to do that and I was taking it to a tailgate, I would do 4 to 6 packs of that chicken.
Mm-hmm.
I'd do a bunch of it, and it would definitely hold up for something like that. But I mean,
a pork loin.
So pork loin to make sliders.
Yeah.
That would be I wouldn't put, like, if I was going to do sliders or anything, I wouldn't put them together and bring them, but I would get my meat prep. So you just so here's what I'm thinking. Pork loins do great, or pork tenderloins do great. Any kind of pulled chicken, you could do whole chicken.
Yeah, you could do a whole chicken.
And you could pull it, get it in a Ziploc bag, get it down in that party stacker, bring it out to the thing, and then assemble your sliders.
You could even pull it out there.
Yeah, you could pull it out there if you wanted to.
Keep it whole and travel.
Those skewers would work great. Poppers would work great. If you like making jalapeno poppers, they'll hold up to heat. Those are just some ones that come to mind quick.
Didn't y'all say tri-tip?
Sausages.
Ooh,
tri-tips. Tri-tips would work really good because you got a fast cook time on them. I would slice it when I got out there, but I would take them and just wrap them in foil, drop them down in the party stacker, take them out to the tailgate, set me up a little cutting board, slice them up and what I'm thinking with those would be sandwiches or something like that.
Yeah, tacos.
Tacos. Anything you could do like that.
Sliders. Yeah.
Yep, those would be perfect. Sliders, tacos, or any kind of little sandwich or hoagie. Sausages would be easy to do it. You could do a bunch of brats. You could do anything, sausage and cheese. If you wanted to make a quick sausage and cheese board, grill your sausages up, get them in a Ziploc bag, throw them in that party stacker, go out to the thing, make you a big serving platter full of sausage, cheese, and crackers and pickled things. That would be an easy one to do. I'm trying to think of anything else. I mean, those little beef flanking ribs that Tyler likes that I did or the Thai steak sticks would be a good one too.
A lot of beef because you can like a tri-tip.
Yeah.
I know beef tenderloin's kind of expensive for something like that, but it cooks quick. It'll hold its mass and hold its heat.
All those would be excellent items to do.
So you wanted to talk about this weekend?
Yeah, well, I did Greg Rempe last week. We got because we hadn't watched it yet. The guy Joey Chestnut that eats all the hot dogs every year. He didn't get to do the Nathans on 4th of July this year.
Yeah, they kicked him out for some reason.
It had something to do with like a sponsorship.
Yeah,
with Impossible Meat.
Yeah, he had signed a thing with that, and they didn't want him promoting anything else. I don't know what the deal was. I'm not into the competitive eating. I just like to eat. Competitive eating, I'd die. But anyway, he didn't get to do it. So he did, like, I guess one of his number one rivals is Kobayashi. Mm-hmm. That's the Asian guy.
I saw that on Netflix the other day.
So that's where it is. And Greg asked me if we had watched it, or I had watched it. And I said, no, I've been rewatching all of Game of Thrones. I hadn't seen that. But anyway, I got to go watch it. So Greg challenged me to go watch it because guess how many hot dogs? This is a 10-minute span. Have you seen it?
No.
So just y'all take a wild guess. How many hot dogs do you think?
One person or between the two of them?
In 10 minutes? No, one person in 10 minutes. What do you think his count was?
Just because of who it is, I'm going to go like 50.
I'm going to say 86.
83.
83.
That's what Greg told me. Now, I don't know this to verify. That's just what I remember Greg telling me. And I don't know how many Kobayashi ate, but could you imagine eating 83 hot dogs in 10 minutes? 83.
I ate like 4 in 5 minutes.
Yeah, so that's what we did. We didn't get into that on this podcast, but so we ran ours and it was a 5-minute contest.
No, y'all made me make it 3. Y'all were worried somebody would hurt themselves, and at that point,
it was longer than 3, wasn't it?
I thought it was 3.
I definitely know whatever it was. We decided it wasn't long enough, in the moment, but yeah, it was not long. So 3 to 5 minutes.
I think the winner at ours only got 7.
Yeah.
And he ate 83 in 10 minutes.
That's insane.
That's over a pack of hot dogs. You can't take the dog off the bun. It's got to be bun and dog together. You can dip it, I guess, in water. But he was eating over a pack of hot dogs and buns per minute.
I got to watch it now.
Oh,
so how many packs of hot dogs is 83?
10.
It's
8
10?
hot dogs. There's 8 hot dogs and 8 buns in each package. Is how
so it's over 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That's like how many we had on the BFO.
When we did our guess how many hot dogs on.
My whole thing is that he has just got to be wrecked after. And Greg says he mainly, I don't know if he talked to him or how he saw an interview. He digests it. He doesn't give it back. So a lot of people will go to the closest garbage can. But can you imagine what his heart doctor thinks about when he goes?
It's crazy.
It's got to. I mean, that's a lot of
I don't
nitrates.
even know how you
I don't know how
digest that much.
I don't either. I wouldn't
Well,
want
now
to see
I'm
what 80
curious.
hot dogs would look like on this table.
That's what I was trying to picture.
It would be a
What it
mound of hot dogs.
For me, it's not even as much as like the digestive system part. It's like physically the act of eating that many hot dogs in that amount of time just seems impossible. Just like the act of putting it in your mouth
and chewing
at least once or twice, swallowing next one. Like it just doesn't seem like it fits in that time span.
I don't know.
It's crazy.
That dude's got a talent.
I guess so, dude.
Speaking of hot dogs,
Human garbage disposal.
Somebody on the community posted a picture of a hot dog roller, like one of those old school hot dog rollers. It didn't have like a top. It's just, the heating element in the roller. And they said their dad found it at a garage sale for $35.
Oh, what a find.
Yeah, but someone else commented, Kelly commented and said he had one of those retrofitted for a charcoal grill.
See, and so you put it under it and it rolls. I was wondering how it would hold up. Like, what if you put it in the smoker, but it could roll the whole time it's in the smoker? It's like you slide it in on the shelf. It's constantly rolling that hot dog.
He said he lost it in the divorce, but
dang. I had to put that in the prenup or something.
the hot dog roller.
Yeah.
Any hot dog cooking apparatuses.
You can have the sofa. Like, I don't need half of that. But I want the hot dog.
I want the dog and the hot
So
dog
what would you
roller.
take? Would you say if we was to split up, would you go nacho machine or hot dog machine? Because I'm getting one or the other.
Which one? I got to pick.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going nacho machine.
You let me have the dogs.
I want to upgrade the hot dog machine.
That's smart.
Anyway.
I was going nacho machine all day. Who wouldn't want to smell the cheese? Yeah, I'd bowl a hot dog. Nacho machine's awesome. And I don't like it for the fact, I don't like it to make a big plate of nachos. Mm-hmm. I like it because you can just squeeze out a little on a scoop or a chip,
Yeah, you just walk by it and get a little nibble.
Bit, yeah.
If you were a single man, you'd be doing that a lot. Just like,
oh yeah, you just keep a can going. I can see that dude, instead of having a toaster on the counter. My bachelor pad, I just have the nacho machine go and just change out the can every 2 or 3 days.
Every 2 to 3 days.
Bang for your buck, you can't beat it. That can of nacho cheese is like $5.
And it's like a 10-pound
Chips are more expensive than the cheese now. It used to not be that way. I was in Kroger the other day and I was buying stuff to take down for our dove hunt that we did. And I was surprised. Like, if you don't get chips on sale, a bag of the family size, like Tostitos chips, $7.99.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I was like, who is paying $8 for a bag of tortilla chips?
It's insane. Like Ruffles or like, last time I bought a family size pack of Ruffles, it was like $8.49.
It's got to be a marketing thing. They never charge. because there's always something on sale. Like it might not be the Lay's product this week. It might be the other one. Mm-hmm. But they're always they're never that exactly priced. I don't even know why. I guess they do it. It's like a marketing thing. Make you think you're getting a deal when you pay $5.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
which is still ridiculous.
Well, usually here's what they get you. It's like, if you buy one bag, it's $7.99. But if you buy 5 bags, they're $2 a bag.
Yeah.
And so you end up with all these bags of different kinds of chips. It's pretty smart, I guess.
Yeah. Like the bags at Aldi are like, same size would be like $3 or whatever. Yeah.
And they're pretty good too.
Oh yeah.
He loves the Cheetos puffs.
Clancy's Cheetos, Cheesy Poofs.
So I'm talking about.
I like them so much. I researched them. I was like, these remind me. I probably said this on a podcast before, but they remind me of the Powwows. There was a brand of Cheesy Puffs when I was a little kid, and you only find them at Walmart. And they were called Powwows. It was like a blue and white bag or something. Had a little Indian kid with a feather on it, and I just remember that. I was like, man, these are the Cheetos way before like Chester Cheeto that I remember. That was what the generic was what we got, and those taste just like it. So I got to looking. I was like, where is these Clancy's? And they had bought that company, Powwow or whatever. And that's the same Cheeto.
Wow.
Did it take you back to your childhood?
Takes me back.
See, like as a kid, I loved the Andy's hot fries and like even the
Andy Caps
that they have. Those were my favorite. I don't know why. I think it's just because that's what we had. Like we had a vending machine at school.
Brims, man. We had local, so we might have had some Brims or something like that. But
Golden Flake has a perfect Cheeto puff.
Golden Flake.
I don't know if I ever had that.
They're greasy.
They're so greasy and so
that's
good.
That's why I don't like it. You talk about cheese dust.
It's more like cheese paste.
Yeah, it's more like cheese paste.
It's the best part.
Tell you the ones that are really good is those Planters cheese balls in a can.
Mm-hmm.
Those are good. You don't see? Do they still make those?
No, they brought them back, I think.
I hadn't had those in a
I've saw them recently. I almost bought them from nostalgia reasons, but so do you want me to ask you questions or do you want to talk about this weekend?
We'll talk about this weekend before we get off here.
Okay.
Because we're bringing the blue plate tartar sauce to Arkansas.
So, pull these questions from the community. Bob asked, has anyone tried the reusable barbecue blankets for resting meats? Any thoughts on doing that versus using a cooler?
I have no clue what that is. What's a reusable barbecue blanket?
Oh, I don't know. I just assumed you would know.
You're going to have to bring me back. You're going to have to educate me on that one. But no, I mean, I've used old blankets before.
It looks like a ShamWow on one side and like a space blanket. Like, can you?
Mm-mm. It's like, it has like a heat shield thing on it.
Yeah, one of those heat shield things.
Oh, that's pretty cool. No, I've never seen them, though. They sell them at Shields. I like Shields. I've never used that, but I don't see why it wouldn't work. I've seen, I know a lot of guys that when they do contests, they'll have like an old blanket or something that they'll have up on top of their pit or on a counter outside. And instead of sticking it in a Cambro or a regular cooler that's going to really hold heat, that's not going to trap as much heat. So it's going to work. I doubt you would overcook something by putting it in that once it was done.
But it's not going to hold as well.
But it's not going to hold it as hot either. But it would definitely work.
You might need to.
I've never seen those. It kind of reminds me of like one of those insulated pizza carriers or something.
Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. Eric, I feel like this one's a pretty long one.
Oh, I can debrief it.
Okay. I'd really like to hear an in-depth discussion on the freezing and best thawing methods for certain meats. I know fresh is best, but that's not feasible. He says, I know everyone in here has one brisket that's been in your freezer for over a year.
He's absolutely right. I've got a freezer full of stuff. Stuff just gets cycled in because I find it on sale. And I'll be like, I got to get this. I may not cook it this week, but I can freeze it. And yes, he's right. Fresh is always better, but it's just not always the case. I cook a ton of frozen stuff. A lot of times if you get something shipped to you, it's been froze. It's not like they're shipping you fresh. So I don't have a huge problem with it. I like to cook as fresh as I can when it's feasible.
What's your
my preferred freezing method? If you get something fresh, I mean, if it's in cryovac, I usually stick it in the freezer, and that's how I do it.
You're good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Is that as good as a vacuum seal bag? Cryovac?
Yeah, I wouldn't open up a cryovac to re-vacuum seal it because it's already been sealed up. Where you get into is if you get it and that cryovac's been compromised maybe you found something, didn't realize it, or it got a hole punched in it before you got it on the way home or whatever it happens, I would reseal that up. But if you're putting any kind of meat up, say if you're taking a whole ribeye and you're cutting it into steaks and you want to freeze them because you want to save some money, it really makes sense to do that. I would vacuum seal those. But I would try to anything I'm going to freeze, it's either going to be in its original cryovac or I'm going to vacuum seal it. I'm just going to get it in my deep freezer because I don't have any kind of blast chiller or anything like that, and I'm going to let it freeze. For thawing out, the absolute best way is to put it in the refrigerator and give it time. Don't speed thaw it.
Slow thaw.
Is that always the application for me? No, because I've run me a sink of water and threw me some meat in it in a heartbeat, or I've just let it set out and do it. Now, don't do that. I mean, because I can't tell you to do that, but I've done it. I'm sure we all have, but that's not the recommended way because
why?
Because bacteria can grow because the outside of that meat is thawing out faster than the core, and it's in the danger zone longer. And anytime meat's in the danger zone, if it's been introduced to any kind of bacteria, it's more prone to grow on it when that meat's in that danger zone. And it's just to keep people from getting sick. So bigger cuts of meat take longer in the refrigerator. You got to plan ahead. Smaller cuts like ribs and chicken, they thaw out pretty quick. And so that's the best way to do it. Now, if you got a large cut of meat, say one of those briskets that's been in there in the freezer for 9 months or whatever, I have taken it, put it in a cooler of ice and letting it sit overnight. It'll thaw it out fast that way, but you're still keeping it cool because of the ice. And it'll thaw faster than it will in the refrigerator because a whole brisket in the refrigerator, man, it's like
a week.
It's gonna it might not take a week, but it's going to take 4 or 5. And like a whole turkey come around Thanksgiving, it's going to take a week, because to get it right to where you want it. So just take that into account. But the refrigerator is always the best way and the recommended way to thaw anything frozen. It's not to set it on the counter. It's not to heat up, put hot water in the sink or tap water. It's not, that's not the best way to do it. It's not recommended, but it works. That being said, have I done it? Yeah. Have I done it in a bathtub? Yeah. Have I put it froze on the smoker? Yeah. I've done all kinds of not recommended things.
Jamie posted this and actually tagged you and Mark into it. He said that my wife just put a slice of bread with mozzarella, or do you know what I'm talking about? With mozzarella cheese on it and microwaved it just enough to melt the cheese, and then took the other slice, put a big smear of mayonnaise, Lay's potato chips, and then put the two pieces of bread together and made like a mayonnaise chip cheese sandwich. Would you try it?
No.
You wouldn't even take a bite.
To me?
Can I put some turkey or something on it? It's just mayonnaise and warm cheese, mayonnaise, and chips. I mean, I ain't saying I might try it.
I feel like that's how I make my grilled cheeses anyways. Like I lather the outside. I guess it's cooked mayonnaise, but I'm going to cook mayonnaise on the outside and then put mozzarella. Like I literally made one like 2 nights ago with like fresh mozzarella in the middle. And then I'm going to eat chips on the side anyways. So like, I don't feel like they don't go.
Sneak them off in there.
I love putting chips on sandwiches.
When I saw this, I was like, Shell does this. I don't know if she heats her cheese up in the microwave first, but she definitely puts mayonnaise and chips and eats a sandwich.
Like a deli sub sandwich. I'll put chips on it.
You just like the crunchy texture? Mm-hmm. Is that what it's all about?
Yeah. My growing up, my grandmother would make ham sandwiches and she'd put Fritos. Really? Ham sandwiches with Fritos in them, and I loved them. Who
Jamie's wife, it's a vegetarian sandwich.
Yeah, that is.
There's no meat. It's just mayonnaise, cheese, chips, and bread, right?
It's crunchy.
That's crazy.
Would you try it, Tyler?
I would try it.
I think it would be better grilled, like in a skillet with butter.
Yeah.
Or mayonnaise on the outside and mayonnaise on the inside, like grilled cheese, like Tyler said.
Yeah.
Would I try it? I'd probably try it.
Next time you make your grilled cheese, put chips inside of it.
It sounds like one of those 2 in the mornings after you had several gold tops.
Hot dog sandwich. Yeah.
Hot dog sandwich.
Have you ever made a hot dog sandwich?
Yeah, I made a hot dog sandwich. Who hadn't? Split hot dogs.
Griddle
Take
it.
2 hot dogs, split them open, butterfly style, throw them in the griddle, throw some cheese on it, get your toast. That's a fine eating sandwich.
My kids eat it all the time.
Do you?
They're not even, it's not even, yeah.
A grilled hot dog sandwich.
So where are you going this weekend, Mal?
We are going to the World Championship Squirrel Cooking Contest.
To enter?
In Springdale, Arkansas. Not to cook. We're going to give away some stuff, some jambalaya. We're going to make, I don't know how many pounds of jambalaya. It's a bunch.
It's a bunch.
Yeah.
I bought Kroger out of chicken stock.
Did you?
Yeah.
Chicken stock and
rice.
Seasoned vegetable mix.
I still hadn't found all.
You buy them out of rice too?
No, they still had some more rice, but I wiped them clear.
You bought 30 pounds of rice?
Yeah, 30 pounds of rice.
This recipe is like 30 pounds of rice, 30 pounds of chicken, 30 pounds of sausage, 30 pounds of vegetables, everything, and then 30 quarts of chicken broth or whatever it is. It's a great jambalaya though.
But we're
making it in stages. It'll be like third. But
our goal is to feed 1,000 people. That's what we're shooting for, right?
Hopefully it will. If it don't, we're gonna feed it till we run out. But we're bringing. So there's some people there. I don't know the name of the company. You'd have to look it up on their website. But they're a rod and reel manufacturer. So they're frying fish and they're giving out samples of fried fish, and that's what we're bringing the Blue Plate Mayo tartar sauce for. And then we're bringing the hot sauce for that. We're also bringing the hot sauce to go with the jambalaya. But there's going to be – so it's not just Squirrel Cook-off. And I don't even know if you went – there's no guarantee you get to try squirrel.
I'm kind of hoping I get to try squirrel.
But we'll say that's it's like going to a barbecue contest. Those people – I don't know.
I get it.
You know what?
You only have so much squirrel.
But
and you got to enter
this one may be a little different because I'm pretty sure I saw them recommended sharing – with the public. Because, a lot of barbecue contests, they say, absolutely, you cannot give anything to the public. They're covering their butts.
Yeah.
It's a food safety thing, but this is Northeast Arkansas. They encouraged it. So, but last year, this is just for the public. They had fish tacos that were made with Asian carp. And I didn't try those. I ate nothing but squirrels. I was judging. And then they had rabbits where they made, I forget what they made with rabbits, some kind of stew. I think Mark Lambert's doing something with rabbits there this year. Because he did last year, and then they cooked iguana last year, which I don't know if they're going to have iguana this year. That was interesting.
That's one thing I'm like.
Smokey likes lizard. You like lizard? Oh, you're going to try it if they got some iguana.
Oh, I'll try it, but
they also, it's kind of a celebration of wild game kind of thing. Squirrel being, the lonely tree rat. But they are absolutely delicious.
You judged it last year.
And
you said it was great.
Oh, man, it was amazing. Like, I didn't know you could turn in. It's pretty much just a protein meat. You could do anything you want with it. And I was thinking you're going to get fried squirrel. You're going to get squirrel and dumplings. No, this was pizzas and raviolis and nachos and, Asian style. There was all different kinds of squirrel that was fantastic. And I'm expecting nothing short of that this year, too. But it's a fun time. It's a one-day contest. It's free to the public. It's in Springdale, Arkansas. And if you go to the World Squirrel Cooking Championship of the World, Craig, because the world needs squirrels, on Facebook, I don't even know what the name officially is. I think
World Champion Squirrel Cook-off.
That's it. Okay. That's all the WCSC.
So you know which Squirrel Cook-off it is.
Yeah, so you know which Squirrel Cook-off it is. But it's in Springdale, Arkansas. September the 7th. Starts probably at 9 or 10 and goes to the awards for usually probably about 4 or 5. And
they have live music.
Oh, there's stuff for the kids to do. So I guess it's Daisy or Crossman BB guns. I think it's Daisy BB guns or something will be there. And they have a indoor BB shooting range, and it's a contest. It's free to enter.
Oh,
I think last year they had over 1,700 kids shoot in it or something crazy.
Wow.
They just
What's
come by.
the age?
They even have an adult category. So if you go and you want to shoot a pellet gun or a BB gun, you can do it.
I was just saying if Michael.
There's also a squirrel skinning contest. So who can skin a squirrel the fastest? And the guy that's won it the past couple of years, man, if somebody beat him, they're bad to the bone. This dude skinned a squirrel in about a minute. It's impressive. And then they have the hottest squirrel eating contest. And you ought to see this lava that they put these squirrels in. It's a whole squirrel that's been, I guess, simmered down and then fried or something. And then this guy comes from, I think he's from Kansas City or somewhere, but he grows some of these hottest peppers in the world, type reapers and scorpions and all that stuff. And he brings this sauce concoction, and they run those squirrels after they're cooked down in it, and they give it to you on a little tray. And I guess you got to.
Is it last man standing?
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much because you got to eat the whole squirrel, but then I think you got to wait so long after you. Oh,
they make you wait.
I didn't get to watch this one because I was inside judging, but I think it's like 5 minutes. You know how they'll do, like, if you eat something, you got to wait 5 minutes before you take a drink.
Yeah,
I don't know if I was doing the contest, that's what it'd be, because I think 2 or 3 of them ate the squirrel, but then I don't know how they determined the winner. I guess it was by who. Wasn't as bad off. Yeah. Well,
do they have a squirrel calling contest?
Yes, they're having that this year too.
Oh, I was joking.
No, they do. And I said, how do you call a squirrel? I hunt a lot, but I've never called a squirrel.
Yeah.
But it's you're not actually calling the squirrel, you're cutting. And cutting symbolizes the sound that they make when they're up. They call it when they eat, like eating pecans out of a tree, or they're eating acorns or whatever. Chomping on it, it kind of makes this sound, and that's the sound you're trying to make when you call them. But I think, yeah, that's it. That's it. I've heard squirrels make that sound, but I didn't know you could.
I can't do it on the spot.
Yeah. That's it. That's squirrel cutting. It's like a little clicker thing. But I guarantee you they're going to let that turn into, call them however you want to call them. So you know how they do a hog calling contest, something like that? I'm expecting something like that, yeah. How do you call the squirrels that you used to feed? Because you had some that would come almost right up to you and feed them. You were feeding them what, cashews and pecans?
Yeah, it was the deluxe mix.
The deluxe mix.
It's whatever we had.
Is there a trick to calling them up in the neighborhood squirrels?
No, they would just come up.
Yeah, there was no calling. You just shook the nut can or whatever.
In Virginia, they were just walking right up to us. Like, I think some squirrels are just so accustomed to people.
Yeah, these were.
Well, Joe Wilson, who's responsible for coming up with the Squirrel Cook-off and, getting it started or whatever, he's the one that told me about the squirrel calling contest. And he said the company that come out with this squirrel cut and call, The problem was squirrels didn't come to it, but deer did. So it made a great deer call because the deers associated that noise with with acorns.
Acorns, yeah.
Yeah, and
which
so
is
they
the
would
food
come up and
source.
try to eat them along with the squirrels. So it's a pretty good deer call, he says. During bow season when there's actually acorns on the ground. Interesting tidbit.
I'm excited about going. You went last year, you and Mikey.
Yeah.
This year we're taking all everybody's going.
Everybody's going. We're going to go over to Springdale and we'll do the squirrel cook-off all day and just have a good time. And then we'll come, we'll have to come back on Sunday. Hopefully Saturday evening we'll get to go somewhere and watch
Mississippi State
and Arizona.
That game doesn't
Is it
kick
Arizona
off till
State or Arizona?
Arizona State.
Okay.
I think.
Kicks off at like 9:30.
Yeah,
it's a
late.
West Coast game.
It's bedtime.
You'll be rare form, full of squirrel. Ready to cheer on your dogs. And I'm just,
here for
there for the entertainment. But
Arizona State, yeah.
The Sun Devils. That's what I have going on this weekend, though. And then after that, there's a contest over in another one in Arkansas, in Melbourne.
Oh,
There'll be
yeah.
a burger contest. Is that in October, though?
It is October. I think it's like the 2nd or 3rd.
It's around fall break.
October 12th.
Yeah.
Melbourne,
It's a good one to
Arkansas.
put on your calendars if you want to come over and cook at a burger contest.
Burger and drink contest,
drink.
I think. Yeah.
And we're going to have our wing contest.
Mm-hmm. There's not many spots left, so.
Yeah, it's about full. That's why I didn't want to talk too much about it. But
That's coming up in 2 weekends?
it's the last weekend in September, I believe.
Yep.
So that'll be a fun one.
September 28th. So yeah, we got a lot
There's a
of
few
stuff going on.
spots left. If anybody wants to come cook in the hot wing contest, chance to win $1,000.
Like if you're hearing it right now, go ahead and.
Yeah.
Like, if
you
you want
better
Malcolm-
call Austin and see if there's a spot or send an email or something.
Yeah, on Facebook, there should be a post that was probably more recently that talks about our wing contest, and there will be the form submission on there.
Is it on the regular How to Barbecue Right Facebook?
No, it's
or
only
on
on
the
Malcom
Malcom
Shop.
Shop. Yeah.
We only shared on Malcom Shop.
Yeah, it's kind of a local thing, but we'll give it's $1,000 for the prize.
Well, technically, it's 500 and 500.
Oh, okay. So it splits up.
It's like a traditional hot wing and a chef's choice hot wing. You enter $50. You get entered into both contests, and each one of them has a $500.
Cook them on whatever you want to cook on.
Yep.
Air fryer, grill, deep fry them, pizza oven, however you want to cook them.
Whatever floats your boat.
George Foreman. You ever cooked a wing on a George Foreman?
But it get crispy.
Blackstone.
Blackstone. I've done that too. But
Well-
yeah, that's it. That's the events we have coming up.
Well, Malcolm, that's all I have for you today.
Well, it's going to be a great weekend for watching football and eating squirrels. I do that. That's what Tyler, tell everybody where they can find us and where we got these questions and all that good stuff.
Yeah, all the awesome questions we got today came from facebook.com/group/H2Q community. We hang out there literally all the time. I am in it. Like, it used to just be a weekend thing, but I feel like I scroll through it more and more often just because I feel like I'm not a huge fan of Facebook, but I'm a huge fan of that group on Facebook. So we have a good time in there and share some of your recipes that y'all are making up for football this week. And yeah.
All right.
If you'd like to connect with Malcolm, it's HowToBBQRight on HowToBBQRight on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and of course YouTube. If you'd like to connect me, it's Miss Southern Shell on Instagram.
All right. Well, we will be back next week and we'll tell y'all all about our adventures over at the Squirrel Cook-off.
we'll give you the best squirrel recipes.
Yeah. I'm going to have to duplicate that, right? Like if there's a really, really good one, I can shoot a squirrel.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see y'all next week. We gone.